Here on BBC One now, it's time to join Cliff Mitchell-Moore and Debbie Thrower for Lifeline.
Hello, welcome back to Lifeline, the programme that brings you the latest charity news.
This week, the national charity Barnardo's launched their campaign to find 1989's Champion Children of the Year. Do you know a valued young member of the community whose selflessness makes him or her a shining example to others, or someone with outstanding talents in a particular field? Barnardo's invite you now to offer your nominations for 6 categories: art, dance, music, sport, bravery, and finally triumph over adversity. Write now with full details of the child's achievements and talents, enclosing a 7 by 5 inch black and white photograph, to Champion Children Awards, Barnardo's, Tanners Lane, Barkingside, Ilford, Essex, 1G6 1QG.
On Tuesday, May the 9th, the British Agencies for Adoption and Fostering will launch a new fundraising name, Families Forever. The charity urgently needs to raise both public awareness and funds so that they can continue their vital work helping thousands of abused and neglected children to find new parents who will love and cherish them. It costs over £1 million each year to keep the organisation going, and over £2,000 to find a new family for each child.
To mark its first birthday on Sunday the 14th of May, the Carers National Association is setting out in search of Britain's hidden carers, the secret and largely unpaid army of those looking after relatives or friends who are elderly, ill or disabled. The total number of carers is estimated to be around 6 million. It could be even higher, and together they're saving the country £15 billion a year. The Carers National Association wants the unknown millions to identify themselves now so that the organisation can extend to them the help it's already providing to so many, such as advice about benefits and services that are available in their area.
On Wednesday, May the 17th, that marks the start of a 16-day wheelchair marathon on behalf of the Northern Ireland Council on Disability. The route is 466 miles long, and the participants, all of whom are wheelchair users, aim to raise £100,000, which will directly benefit disabled people and their carers in Northern Ireland. The Council needs help now from the local community to help organise fundraising events.
Finally, in our charity news spot, schools and youth groups are being invited to join in a brand new annual event in aid of the homeless, National Sleep Out Week. From May the 22nd to the 29th, young people from all around the country will be organising sponsored events to climb into sleeping bags and cardboard boxes and sleep out for one night.
The event is the brainchild of the St Mungo Housing Association, London's largest independent charity, helping the single homeless, and the aim is to raise desperately needed funds to help the ever-growing number of homeless people now sleeping rough on London's streets. Official registration and sponsorship forms are now available from St Mungo Housing, 217 Harrow Road, London W2 5XQ. This month's appeal is made by Julian Ballantyne on behalf of AMREF, the African Medical and Research Foundation.
Now, we've heard a lot recently how we take our healthcare for granted in this country, but to my mind it's a message well worth repeating. I'll show you an example. Come with me. Hello, Debbie. Come here, you two. Come round here. This is Danny and this is Louis. Hello, mate. Now, sooner or later, it's likely that they'll go down with our common illnesses. One of our childhood illnesses like measles, for example. But today, that's no great worry. Within 20 minutes walking distance from here, we've got 3 hospitals, several doctors and countless chemists. And after a quick visit to the doctors and a couple of days in bed, these two will be up and about like any other kids. But then, this was Britain. In East Africa, children like Danny and Louis make up the majority of the population, and there, common illnesses are fatal. The fact is that 60 to 80% of all deaths in developing countries are due to easily curable diseases. To measles, you could add TB, whooping cough and pneumonia. Even diarrhea is a major killer. Follow that. Now, as we know, these illnesses can all be easily treated without the need for expensive hospitals and doctors. And in a way, that makes the situation in Africa all the more tragic. But then it forms a basis for AMREF's whole approach to healthcare. The African Medical and Research Foundation, AMREF, was founded 30 years ago to help tackle the problems of healthcare amongst the remote communities of Kenya, Tanzania, the Sudan, Uganda and Somalia. It's a massive task as the populations of these countries are spread over vast areas, so AMREF has to involve itself at the highest levels.
In recent times, we have seen the enormous human wastage that has taken place in Africa. All these famines cause immense health problems. They make the daily lives of the people concerned more difficult to cope with and put enormous strains on the medical resources of the countries concerned. The emphasis is on training, and as such we can assist in building an infrastructure which enables countries to cope when they experience disasters, for instance in Kenya. But of course there was an infrastructure in that country enabling action to be taken long before it reached disaster proportions.
The biggest problem AMREF face is the sheer size of the countries they work in. From their headquarters in Kenya, they have to reach rural communities across an area the size of Europe. Relying solely upon land vehicles travelling down badly maintained roads is both time-consuming and hazardous. So as a backup to their mobile medical unit, they have a small fleet of light aircraft, the famous Flying Doctor Service. From Nairobi, they can fly in cases of emergency to any one of 60 landing strips across Eastern Africa, each one built by the local communities. Now, flying highly experienced doctors in to deal with every illness would be far too expensive, so AMREF have a simple solution.
The Foundation's main strategy is the development of community health and supporting primary and community-based healthcare programs. We train community health workers in primary health care as they have direct grassroots experience. They speak the local languages and they're familiar with the customs and traditional beliefs of the people. What we do try and emphasize in our training programs is that through preventive measures like safe water, immunization, sanitation and hygiene, diseases like diarrhea can be prevented or treated at home. In addition, AMREF is helping to set up small laboratories in rural health centres. This encourages the rational use of drugs, as malaria slides, for example, can be tested and the appropriate medical advice can be given.
Most people are now fully aware of the scale of the problem facing much of the African continent. Isn't it heartening to see a charity like AMREF really getting to grips with the problem? Not just through terms of treatment, but with a commitment to long-term solutions through education. It is hard for us to imagine just how much AMREF have improved the quality of life for those that live in the remote and inhospitable areas of Eastern Africa. I hope we've shown you the value of their work. Obviously, such a huge undertaking costs money. Just think what they could do with a little more. Anything you send will be put to excellent use, helping the people in Eastern Africa help themselves, not just today or tomorrow, but for years to come.
It's a lovely part of the world, but they do have huge problems to come to grips with, don't they?
They're battling on all fronts. Well, if you'd like to give, you can phone in now using any of the 4 major credit cards. The number to ring is 01992 5522. That's 01992 5522. And we'll be keeping those lines open for the next 2.5 hours.
If you would like to send a donation by post, it's cheques and postal orders only, please, to Julian Ballantyne, AMREF, P.O. Box 7, London W36XJ. That's Julian Ballantyne, AMREF, P.O. Box 7, London W36XJ. The address is also in Radio Times and on page 189 of CFAX.